Crafty friends, it's Jess from jesscrafts.com, and today I'm here to share a card set featuring Newton's Nook Designs stamps. I am up at the Newton's Nook Designs blog today, so I'll be sure to leave you a link in the video description. I'm going to be using the Beautiful Wings stamp set and their coordinating dies, and I'm going to be using two different kinds of ombre inks to compare them and let you see how they look together, as I know some people were able to recently get a hold of the Recollections or saw them and were curious. I am starting by doing some masking. In today's case, I am using the Delicate Surface Frog tape. While this is a little bit pricier, I found that it does a phenomenal job. It really sticks to your paper well, yet comes off easily. And to me that was key. I wanted something that would give me like a really straight, crisp line, yet when I peel it off the paper, it's not going to rip up my paper. I don't want to be worried at all about that because I like to do clean and simple cards. So if you even get a small tear, it's pretty frustrating. And I often found that with the thick regular painter's tape, it also is a little bit thicker than this tape, and so it doesn't give you quite the same crisp edge. So I cannot recommend this tape more highly. It's really awesome. It really lived up to all of the hype, all the different people saying, you know, I saw it on a couple of different YouTube channels. I know one of them was the Understand Blue channel. I'll leave a link to that one as well, as that's where I got the recommendation from. But very, very well recommended. What I did here is I laid it across the top of the card, and I am lining it up with this grid mat that I use. It's actually a paper grid mat, and I'm liking it a lot because I can wipe off my stamps next to it, I can line things up, I can ink and clean them up easily, and I don't have to worry about if you were to be inking on a non-porous surface like a regular craft sheet, when you move the card base around you can pick up the ink. But because it's paper, it absorbs right in. So I personally enjoy using it. And so what I have here is it's taped, and then I went like 4 little grid marks down and taped again. So I'm able to really line things up easily. And it didn't even tear the thin grid paper that I'm using. So even when I peeled it off of there was no problem. So it was very encouraging. Now, I am using the Recollections from Michael's Ombre Ink Pad. I know that some people were able to find these in their Michaels. Obviously, Michaels isn't available in every country, and each Michaels has different stuff, but if you happen to have seen these in Michaels and were interested, I love Hero Arts Ombre Inks. I like getting 3 colors in one pad, I like being able to use 2 colors at one time, and I actually feel like the Michaels Recollections ones hold up. They are, to me, they work very similarly. They look a little bit different. There's a little bit more bleed from one color to the other in the Michaels, and they have a different kind of pad base. Like the Hero Arts are a felt-based pad, but in terms of stamping quality, I was very happy with both of them. I felt like they stamped very evenly in terms of, you know, being similar. And the same thing you need to do with both of them is to sort of move your stamp back and forth across the 2 colors. So don't just press straight in and pull out. Move your stamp around to blend the 2 ink colors together. And it won't ruin the ink if they kind of, you know, they wind up touching a little bit, but it will give you a more like a softer blend between the 2 colors and no harsh line. So do that. I believe Jennifer McGuire used to refer to it like a little cha-cha across the ink pad. And that same recommendation holds true with the Recollections stamp pads. So here I have stamped some images from Beautiful Wings all the way across, and the painter's tape does a nice job. Even though it's really thin, no bleed through on either of the dye inks that I used today. And I hit it with a heat gun because I felt like if I peel it up before anything is dry, the ink might come off on my fingers, like come off the tape and onto my fingers, and then spread where I don't want it to. So I just heat everything up with the heat gun first, let it all dry, and then I peel this up. And as you can see here, I'm going quite slowly, but not really that slowly, and I did not have any tearing whatsoever. I didn't feel like it was ever catching on there, and over time I just started, like, you know, ripping it much quicker and still had no problem. So Once I had the background of the card completed, I was ready to use the die cuts. And so I have this large butterfly from the stamp set. However, with this butterfly, I decided that I just wanted a solid colored butterfly. I didn't want to do an ombre because this was kind of going to be the focal point and to make it stand out a little bit. So what I'm doing is selectively inking. I am just taking the very edge, the dark blue strip of the ombre pad, and dabbing it all over the stamp. And I'm using my Misty tool in this instance because it's possible with, trying to ink so carefully that you might make a mistake, and the Misty's going to let you stamp down twice. However, I think that you'd be fine with just a stamp block. For me, now that I have my Misty, I use it constantly. There are other stamping tools that give a similar effect, but this is what I have, and I enjoy using it. I am doing the same thing with the sentiment, just stamping it in the one color by selectively inking. You see here that the magnets with the Misty I have covered in washi tape, and that's just so that they don't cling together to, sometimes they will snap together quickly and they could pinch you, or they could break. So I just have it with the washi tape to make them easier to move. And then once I had my butterfly stamped, I die cut it with the coordinating dies from Newton's Nook. And these dies are really detailed. Even that little space between the butterfly's antennas is cut out. And I attached that with some foam tape. Now, I wanted to do a couple of these cards so that I could compare the two inks. Particularly, I chose two different blues. So I chose a Hero Arts Ombre in a blue tone. They're a little bit different. This one's more teal, whereas the Recollections was more of a true blue. But I wanted to just see, if I did the same exact card with both kinds of ink, would you be able to tell which one was which? And like I said before, for the most part, I generally did not notice any difference. And I felt like they gave a very similar result. Here you can see that I've chosen just a few images from the stamp set. I find that when you're trying to fill a space, the best thing to do is to choose a large, medium, and small, so that way you can make the large stamp it in like about 3 places usually. So you see I have 3 big butterflies here. And then fill in like 1 medium and 2 smalls, and kind of like piece them together. But if you choose 3 things that are about the same size, they're not going to piece together as well. So think about that when you're selecting the stamps in the first place. You want to have that variation in size, and it's also nice in here to have like that variation in pattern, having a flower to offset it so it's not just the butterflies. But this stamp set does have a lot of fun possibilities because it has like a little ladybug, 2 different ladybugs, and a dragonfly, so you can mix it up a little bit. And after the fact, when I finished recording just these 2 cards on camera, I made a few more with some different color palettes and some different large butterflies from the collection, because there are just so many to choose from, and I chose a different sentiment for each one. There are sentiments in there like "May your dreams take flight" or "You are simply wonderful," but the one that I like a lot is "Fluttering by to say," because you can stamp that and then add whatever sentiment on the inside that you need later. So, like I said, they performed both just as well, Recollections versus Hero Arts. That delicate surface frog tape is top notch, and this is the Butterfly Wings stamp set from Newton's Nook Designs. I will leave links to the products in the video description below, as well as to the Newton's Nook blog, so you can check out the still photos, and to my social media links, so you can check me out. Join me over in the Critter Loving Card Makers Facebook group or the Newton's Nook Designs Facebook group. Thanks for watching. Bye.